I have a very special guest today. I'm very honored because several years ago, I met a woman named Tanya, and she studied with me for a while, and she is a wonderful, beautiful spirit. We lost contact for a few years, and then I got an email, and the email said, "Hello, this is Logan Thomas, and I have transitioned. I used to be Tanya. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm ready to start working with you in furthering on this journey again." And I read that email and I thought, yes, that felt so correct and so perfect. And honestly, I didn't have any questions other than, what do you want me to know about this journey? So Tanya is now Logan. Logan Thomas is here today to share his experience, not necessarily just the physical aspects of transitioning from a biological biological female into a male, but the emotional and especially the spiritual aspects of this journey of coming into his authentic self. And I speak so often about the harmonic union of the alpha and omega within us, right? This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing here as a society right now, is we are finding our way within our own individual aspects to find that harmonic balance between that alpha and omega within us, the male and female energies within us, the heart and the mind center. So we are noticing, I think, that more and more, well, we have now the technology to help people actually sculpt their body to fit the form that feels correct inside of them. But on top of that, I think that there are souls that are here to help us understand and explore that aspect of what does it truly mean to be in harmonic union inside of a physical body. So welcome, Logan, and thank you so much for being willing to share with us today.
Hello to you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, very well.
I just want to tell you I'm really honored that you're on my show. This is your first time really speaking about this publicly, and I know that that is part of your service here on Earth. And so thank you for choosing me to share with today. Can you tell me a little bit? Now, I know you have told me that you knew at the age of 3 that you were a male inside a female's body. Can you give me just a short synopsis of your journey up to this point, and then we'll go into deeper exploration of the spiritual aspects of that?
Sure. As soon as I knew that what a boy and a girl, the difference being that there is a difference between male and female, I knew at that point, around the time of, I would say, between 2 and 3, maybe a little bit more. Once you get that act like a young lady, or you need to act like a young lady, I knew at that point I was in the wrong body.
Interesting.
So, yep, I lived from the age of 3 or 4 until the age of 44 before I did my work on my physical body transition.
Mm-hmm.
In New York State, you have to before you can do go on hormones or have a surgery, you have to be in psychological care for a year.
Okay.
I am now 47.
So you have been in the male body form now for nearly 3 years.
Yes.
And how about sharing a little bit about that aspect of it? Now that you are in this body form, what are some of the things that you're noticing from that perspective, from having lived, being treated by the world and having the physiological makeup of a female for all those years, and now having the appearance of a male, and also the hormones of a male running through you?
Well, I can start with the first with the hormones, because I really did not know what I was getting into until that first shot. And you hear about, well, your sex drive may go up, you may get facial hair, your voice may change. You hear all of those things, but no one is truly prepared until you put that needle in your leg or rub that cream on you, whatever your choice of hormone is. Once that happens, it's a daily learning experience, I have to tell you, because I'm going through puberty and menopause both at the same time, and your physical body does not truly get into the mode of that hormone, if it ever does. I'm starting to question if it ever will, for 2 to 5 years in your biological sense, body. As far as a mental process, it's like I said, that the hormone drives that mental so much that I'm trying to, in my journey here, I'm trying to collectively marry those two together, as you and I have talked in the past.
And talk a little bit more. We have discussed that, but let's share this with the audience now, because you've been working with me, so we've had a unique perspective on what this is to literally marry the male and the female within the same body. Share some thoughts about what you've explored from the observer going through this, and what that truly means about the mind and the heart, the alpha and the omega within you.
Well, as far as the alpha and omega in me, and we'll take the alpha and omega in a spiritual sense, and we'll bring it down to a male and female in a relationship. How's that?
Sounds good.
And I'm gonna put male and female in a relationship. That way, I can sort of bring those two together. A male and female, I have found out it really is driven by the hormones, a lot by the hormones. And I know the way I thought. For example, I really thought that, you see the commercials on TV and you hear people, and women especially, talk about chocolate. I just could not believe. I could not believe that, because I ate chocolate. I mean, I'm talking about a bag of chocolate. You could ask my son, he would say, yep, at least 1 or 2 bags a day. I went from eating a bag a day or something, or a couple bags through the week, to I really don't have the taste for chocolate. I mean, I like chocolate desserts and things like that, but I was amazed. That's amazing to me. So I'm thinking, if we can bring it from taste and hormone to alpha and omega, and bring that, transition that all the way through, that's amazing. It's just very amazing while you're sitting in the earth plane in my body, to say I can bring what the alpha and omega all the way down to the very hormone. And then you laugh about that.
And to explore that, right? Yeah. So you're exploring then the true sense of that harmony, right down to chocolate, which I have to say, I bet you there's a lot of women out there going, yes, we have confirmation on this chocolate theory.
I really hate to say it, but it's true. And I've talked with other women except you about that, and they're like, I can't believe that. And I'm like, if you have a male and a female, a male child and a female child, I wonder if, now that we've brought that to light, if people out there will notice their children. So that's
and
pretty simple.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So, how has it been exploring? Because I see you having. Well, let's start with this. Why do you think you chose? Because we have the perspective, and most of the listeners here have taken the journey that have a similar perspective, probably. We have the perspective that we are souls and we're having a human experience, and that we do this more than once until we master everything that we would want to learn and explore in the human experience. So why do you think that you chose to be a female in a male body, or to be a male in a female body on Earth at this time in our evolution?
Well,
What were you thinking?
That's exactly what I thought. What am I thinking? Once I got into it, Sheila, I have to say, once I got into it, I'm like, what was I thinking? And I've done some work in my past lives, and I remember asking you, Sheila, there's no way that I'm ever have been a female. This has got to be it. And I'm still not doing it correctly, except now I know. I definitely know that I am doing it correctly, or that's my truth. Me authenticating myself is I've been a male in all my past lifetimes, and I really had to incarnate in a female body to really know the difference. Because, again, you and I have talked about when in history, I'm not talking about just dressing and acting in the opposite gender, but when in history has a person been able to have chest surgery, which I had last March, and, take and stick testosterone into their muscle on a weekly basis. I mean, I think that's fascinating that
Right.
I can actually morph my body like a transformer into the person that I am today. But, it took me up close and personal and paying attention and having to incarnate in a female for me to get it. Because, Sheila, you and I know, you and I have talked about, is like, okay, unless you experience it, there's no way that I can. I try my best in words here in the earth plane to give to you.
So do you believe you fully understand that harmonic union more now, or that you're nearly understanding that as a result of this journey?
Yes, I do. I feel like that I'm mastering that the reason why I'm sitting here with you, and I give thanks to you for helping me through this and helping me from whatever our contract is. You're an amazing teacher and an amazing friend too, but you're also an amazing person. So what you've helped me do is to take that alpha and omega energy, bring it into the earth plane, and on a daily basis, I learn every single day from moment to moment. I get up in the morning saying, okay, I'm, up close and checked in, and what's today going to bring? Because every single day I try to not only learn more about being my authentic self, but I also try to pass it on to the people in my life, or even in the grocery store as you walk through. Whatever humankind needs, I feel like I can contribute to that. And just me being a transgender person, a sexed female, gendered male, is what my purpose here at this point in the earth plane at this time.
Well, and it's interesting because communicating with spirit and knowing that our souls are not confined to a male or a female, though we might be sided more, like you said, you've had more lifetimes or primarily lifetimes as male, and mine have been primarily as female. So I think that we have a tendency perhaps in the souls that we reflect. But when I channel and I'm communicating with ascended master beings, if they're not coming in a form that I recognize from the stories, from the stories that have been passed down on Earth, where I know a personality, a human attached to it, when they're just coming in as ascended master beings, they are androgynous, and angelic beings, the same thing. So when we're looking at the shift of 2012 and where we're moving, and someone will probably quote me and say that I said that, we're going to be, by 2013, we're going to have no sex, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think that as an evolution of the human race, that if we look at spirit and if we are communicating at these other levels of souls that have gone before us in evolution, that we probably are moving to a place where having that harmonic union, not only a spiritual and emotional harmonic union, but actually a physical harmonic union within a single form is probably where we're heading. Do you feel like that is true and that that's part of what your service is? When you say I'm just being in service just by doing this on earth, is that what you're speaking of?
That's exactly what I'm speaking about.
And
I couldn't have said it any better.
and we are one. You know, this is what we speak of. We're all one essence. So anything that one person does, we all share and experience this. So you didn't have to speak to the masses. You didn't have to come on to this show and share. But I think I want to just express even gratitude that you're willing to do that, because just being here and going through that process was enough service to the world. But to share that with others and from the unique perspective that you have is just such. I think there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to be grateful because they know someone going through this or they're going through this. But more than that, to just be able to hear a perspective from somebody who has gone through this is such an awakening moment.
Well, can I
go ahead? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll put one thing in there.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I really, really would like to get across, or I'd like to help other people, is in a relationship, whether it's male or female, a male and female, a male and a male, a male and a female, or two females. It has a lot to do with hormones, Sheila. It really does. I really don't know how to stress that. It really has a lot to do with hormones. And you have two children. So you could probably enlighten me in a lot of areas on the things I'm going through, because remember, I'm going through puberty and menopause both at the same time. So one minute I
and we bow to you for
that. You know, I'm sweating my ass off one minute, and then the next minute I'm like, I love myself. So it's that shift, being in the earth form. I mean, I know I feel that I'm helping to with our whole shift of consciousness here, collectively, with in relationships with your spouse, relationships with what your partner, your whatever. Just knowing that they're doing the best they can do with the hormone that's raging at the moment.
So having compassion for that, because when we move beyond that dynamic, then we're just two souls relating. But that is the physical aspect of that is what takes it to the next level and helps us to learn a new depth of interaction and mirroring. How is society treating you? You know, you have the unique experience. We can all say, you know, well, it's hard to be a woman or it's hard to be a man. I don't understand. But you actually have the opportunity of understanding people treating you as originally as a female and then as a male. And how great is the level of societal impact on the way we respond to people differently that you've noticed?
Wow, that's big, Sheila. That's a big loaded. I mean, there's so many facets to that question. Me going out and appearing in public right now is like, from people that have known me before I started the hormones, I can walk right by them and they don't even know who I am. I can say hello to them and they still don't know who I am, because I now have a beard and my voice has changed, and they just feel that male essence. They don't even go back to my female essence. Now that is very interesting. It's sad to me and happy at the same time, sort of like puberty and menopause, you know, happy and sad.
It's interesting. I want to just say, when you first started, when you came back into my life and working with me as a male, when you were in front of me, it was just natural. I could see the aspects of Tanya in you, but it was just you. But when I thought of you when you weren't there, like if I was thinking, oh, I have an appointment with, I would actually reference you as Tanya and view you as Tanya when you weren't in my physical space for a while. And somehow with time, that just started merging. I just wanted to share that. That was an interesting way of integrating from the other side.
So you were seeing me and knowing me in a personal sense, and then when you saw the outside, you were still going back to that personal sense.
Yeah, I was still seeing you.
Or the
I
time
was still
essence?
seeing when I wasn't. Yeah, I was still seeing the original form when you weren't right in front of me, even though I knew
And
you were in the new form. Yeah.
so then you have friends that only see the shell of you, and then you go past them again in Wegmans, and you know what? They still miss it. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm sort of laughing about it, Sheila, but you know what I mean.
So you have people that knew from the past and how they were trying to adjust to it. But what about just people that never knew you? The experience of people now treating you like a man, like people that you didn't know before, just assuming you were always a man on the outside. And how are you treated differently as a man versus when you were a female?
Well, it's interesting because I go back to Wegmans, but I have to tell you, I had the real experience in that store that made me say, "Oh, I really have to notice." I met this woman, and she was in the yogurt aisle. Then she went to the health food aisle and moved all the way around 30 aisles of Wegmans and come back, and we're in the face cleaner aisle, and there she is again. So I'm thinking to myself, I say to her, I'm like, I'm not following you around. I'm on my way out. So we start talking again, and all of a sudden, around the corner comes this man, and he has his ring finger up in the air, and he's pointing to his ring finger, saying, basically to me, "She's taken." And I'm thinking to myself, now she got really aggravated at him because he was doing that, and that was my signal to, he held that mirror for me and said, "You know what? If you're going to look like one, you need to act like one." So I'm still, on a daily basis, I grapple with that.
Because you were just going from soul to soul. You weren't even thinking of her as a female at that point. You were just, right. So you're now faced with that.
Right, because every time I talk to a female now, I have to be, and I'm learning this, Sheila, every single day. I'm like, all right, I have to, because I've been told by women, if a man is coming up and talking to you and is interested in you, 99% of the time he's going to ask you for your number. I don't get that. I still don't get it. I really don't understand.
You're still learning how to be a man.
That's right. That's right. So it's an evolving
in the social context of it.
Yeah. And you know what? I would say I'll be honest with you, in the personal aspect of it too, because someone will ask me, "Well, who do you date, men or women?" And I said, "Well, who did I date before? I'm not a gay man. I'm attracted to women." And you know what? Even that for me is sort of saying, all right, I have to, as a transgendered person, what do I want to give my fellow humans? I want to tell them about hormones. I want to tell them that their mate is trying the best they can at that moment, depending on their hormones. I don't feel that women are the only one that goes through hormone changes. I feel like men go through hormone changes, and because they don't bleed, it doesn't matter. How's that?
You know what? That's wonderful. And I knew this was going to happen talking with you, but we're out of time. So we probably will need to have you back someday if you agree to that, because there's so much conversation about this. And I bet you there's listeners out there that would like to share stories or ask questions. And you can go to my website, SheilaApplegate.com, and you'll get the email through there, and you can send me a note if you would like to hear more about this and what areas that you would like to know about this. One thing that I really want to emphasize, Logan, is that having walked through this process with you, I really believe that it is a journey to your authentic self, and that you are now aligning yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually with the true, authentic, harmonic union that you are.
I would have to agree with you to the end, Sheila, and we're still working on that.
Well, yes, if we're going to be here, we're going to keep tweaking, right?
Right.
But,
and, to help other people. to help other people. I came to you and I said, Sheila, can you help me? And I feel like you and I can help other people to understand this, because you know what? My brother and my father at this point do not talk to me because they just can't wrap themselves around that. It's like a death. That person, Tanya, died to them. It's interesting that the male side of my family is that the male side can't put their head around it, but my mother and my sister can. So you see the work that I'm trying to do, we do, in the balance, and I'm very thankful for you, and I love you.
Oh, thank you. And I'm thankful for you, and I'm thankful that you're here to share this story with everyone, and I know we will have you back again.